What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to today's video. As we continue our Madden 20 ratings prediction series, we're going to be taking a look here at the Green Bay Packers, a team that could be one of the prime rebuild contenders for next year's game. Because Aaron Rodgers is coming off a down year, because the rating skew is probably going to negatively affect Aaron Rodgers, I'll put good money that he's going to be below a 95 overall. Now you have them thinking, well, outside of Aaron Rodgers, they have a lot of guys on the right side of 30. They could be a team that, at least in Madden 19, you weren't really considering being a rebuild contender because they had Aaron Rodgers. Going into Madden 20, you might be starting to think, well, Aaron Rodgers is going to regress, even though he most likely will have like a superstar X factor. The other talent around him is going to be so enticing to try to use and build into a powerhouse. So jumping into the ratings at quarterback, I'm giving Aaron Rodgers a 91. 4,400 passing yards, 25 touchdowns to 2 picks. So that's a little bit of down year by his standards. Obviously, the touchdown-to-interception ratio is very good, but the pure on offensive production, only 25 touchdowns is low for a QB of Aaron Rodgers' stature. Like, I honestly feel like anything less than 35 is below his standards. I'm not saying he's slipping that too much. I still think he's definitely a top 5 quarterback in the National Football League at worst. But, you're going to get a 91. They're going to face a little bit of regression, and I assume that, through the roster updates throughout the year, if he gets back to the form that we all know that he can get to, that rating will surely go up. Jumping in the backfield, we have Aaron Jones. I'm going to give an 80 overall. He almost had 1,000 yards from scrimmage and 9 touchdowns last year. One of my adopted sons between him and Darius Leonard. I'm proud of both of them. Even though Aaron Jones slipped up this past offseason, I don't know what the charge was exactly. If someone of this backfield had the upside to become a 3-down back, it's probably going to be Aaron Jones. Jamal Williams is not bad, though, for a running back by committee, partner in crime. 75 overall for him, almost 700 yards from scrimmage, 3 touchdowns last year. Jumping into the wide receivers, we have Davante Adams, who I gave a 92 overall, 111 receptions, 1,400 yards, 13 touchdowns. The chemistry that he has with Aaron Rodgers, I think I can go on a limb and say it's probably the best Aaron Rodgers has ever had with a wide receiver. I mean, he's had Greg Jennings. He had a little bit of Donald Driver, I think. You had James Jones. Probably a couple other that I'm missing, but I think the chemistry that he has with Davante Adams is stronger than any other wide receiver that he has had to work with, and you definitely see it, man. He's a machine, touchdown machine for sure, and I think he's going to be one of those guys that when you hop into your Madden 20 franchise modes, you probably have a really good depth trait, superstar at least. He'll be a 99 overall sooner than later. Geronimo Allison, solid, 75. MVS, we're giving him a 74. He had 600 yards, 2 touchdowns last year. St. Brown, 71. I mean, if you like height, weight, speed, if you like guys that are 6'4", 6'5", with 90-plus speed, gonna like playing as the Green Bay Packers. Jumping to the tight ends, we got Jimmy Graham. Give him an 82 overall. The last base rosters had him like an 86, which is kind of ridiculous. But, he's still all right. I think he gets a lot of flack. I know a lot of Green Bay Packers fans wanted a Noah Fant or TJ Hockenson. And while Jimmy Graham's contract is kind of ugly in comparison to his production, he's still not terrible. 600 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's serviceable. You got Mercedes Lewis here. We're giving him a 78. One of the better. We'll go better. One of the better blockers at the tight end spot in the National Football League. Jay Sternberger was a really, really nice selection in the draft. I think he's going to be one of those guys that will eventually, even just maybe after 1 year, you'll see enough of a Sternberger to be able to move on from Jimmy Graham. And that is really good value given what they got him in the 3rd or 4th round or something like that. But I definitely would keep an eye on him eating into a lot of snaps and being productive as a rookie. Offensive line, David Bakhtia, regarded as the best tackle, the best offensive lineman in general in the National Football League. While I have my own bias about my Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, I always like David Bakhtia. He grades out well from Pro Football Focus. He chugs beer as good as anyone in the National Football League, so I'll give him a 98, which is the highest rating for any O-lineman. Lane Taylor, 74. Corey Linsley, 83. You got Elton Jenkins, versatile offensive lineman at Mississippi State. He can play all over the place. I wouldn't be surprised to see him, in case Bulaga can't stay healthy, play at right tackle at some point. They definitely need to solidify this right guard spot. And at right tackle, Bulaga still graded out fairly well from Pro Football Focus. We'll give him an 82, but just really struggles to stay on the field and needs a little bit more consistency in that respect. But when he's on the field, still really, really damn good, pretty reliable for the Packers. Going to the defensive side. First up, we have Rochon and Gary, one of their 2 first-round selections. Did they have 2 first-round selections? Yes, they did, because they selected my boy with their second one. But Rochon and Gary, incredible athlete, 280, 285. He's going to have well into the 80 speed, great strength, great acceleration. He's going to be an excellent user. And he's going to be one of those dudes that if you're not playing as the Green Bay Packers, you're playing in a 4-3, try to trade for him. I think he's going to be even scarier as a 4-3 D tackle. But either way, very nice piece for the Green Bay Packers for someone like myself that likes to use the defensive line. Right defensive end, you have Mike Daniels, slipping a little bit, starting to show his age, but still productive, really good at setting the edge, really good at affecting the run. So we'll give him an 86 overall. I think his last base roster was like a 90. So definitely going to take a bit of regression. And 86 could still be seen as a little bit generous, but I do like Mike Daniels, so we'll give him an 86. Jumping to the D tackles, we got Kenny Clark, one of the best young nose tackles in the National Football League, pulling in an 89 overall. Last season, 6 sacks, 8 TFLs. That's really good production, as well as affecting the run. So yeah, 89 for Kenny Clark. Zadarius Smith, who they paid big money to come over from the Baltimore Ravens, will give him an 83. I think he had like fringe 10 sacks, 10 TFLs in that territory last year. So he will get, I'm not going to negatively affect his rating, but it ended up finishing last year in Madden 19. In the inside, you got Blake Martinez, who we're giving an 83 overall, 144 tackles, 5 sacks, 10 TFLs. Like, there's a lot of players on this Green Bay team that I agree kind of with where their ratings finished at the end of the Madden 19 cycle. So some of these guys' ratings are staying the same. Right outside linebacker, they brought in Preston Smith, formerly of the Redskins. He's getting an 81. Kyler Fackrell, who actually had a really nice season last year, 10.5 sacks, 12 TFLs, is getting an 80. Now, I've looked at some depth charts that actually, for some reason, have, well, not some reason, they have Zadarius Smith lining up as a defensive end, and you have Preston Smith and Fackrell as your outside linebackers. I have no idea how the Packers depth chart is going to line up. If any Packer fan in the comment section below can kind of explain that to me, that'd be nice. But for the time being, they got a lot of interesting options at edge rusher, and definitely a lot more promise than having an aging Clay Matthews and a Nick Perry that wasn't living up to his contract. Jumping to the secondary, Jair Alexander is getting an 82 overall. Last season, 66 tackles, an interception, 11 pass breakups. Really, really good playmaker. Was one of those. I always feel like anytime someone has a good year, I'm like, oh yeah, just ignore all my mock drafts where I had this guy going to the Eagles a bunch of times and not be salty that he's playing very, very well for another team. But he's a really nice corner and definitely going to be a long-term solution to a Green Bay Packers secondary that has been looking for talent. And you throw in Kevin King, you throw in Josh Jackson. This is one of the best young secondaries in the National Football League, especially when it comes to rebuild. You bring in Kadar Hollyman from Toledo, who's height, weight, speed all over. He's like 6'1", probably going to have 92, 93 speed. He ran like 4.3s at his pro day. Very, very interesting secondary to work with. At free safety, you got Ramon Williams, who's a little bit of an ageless wonder. So played pretty damn well last season. Had some good stats, but ultimately, if you play the Packers, there's no chance in hell you're not having Darnell Savage start. We're giving him a 77, 93 speed, absolute burner. One of my dogs throughout this entire draft process. I've been hyping up again. Reason why I'm not releasing these rosters is because my OCD, like all the weights are messed up, some of the body shapes, the stats aren't great. But yeah, we'll just, what is he, 195? Probably 195, put him around that range. But Darnell Savage is awesome, and I think he's going to be very fun for whatever that small minority of freaks that like to control their safeties when they play defense. At strong safety, they brought over Adrian Amos from the Chicago Bears, and I think 88, he's one of the best strong safeties in the National Football League, coming off a great year with the Bears where he was the leader. Him and Eddie Jackson were a phenomenal tandem. Maybe that could be a tad high. I could see him being literally anywhere between 88. Like, I think 88's his ceiling. I think he'd be between an 88, maybe as low as like an 84, 83, 84, somewhere below that. But because I am a fan of him, I'm going to put him at his ceiling. I think he's a fringe top 5 strong safety in the National Football League, and he's right, deserves to be in that conversation. His rating puts him just about that. And between him and Darnell Savage, you're going to have the most athletic safety tandem in the National Football League, which is going to be good. Again, catering to that small minority of freaks that like to control their safeties. Mason Crosby, 78 as a kicker. You got J.K. Scott, really nice season as a rookie. He will get an 80 as a punter. I think that was his final rating in Madden 19. Not going to touch that. So there you go, guys. Those are my projected Madden 20 ratings for the Green Bay Packers. If you agree or disagree in the comment section below, let me know. If it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.